Hello, my name is Matthew Borman, and today I'll be taking you through the Lordstown Motors fraud, and I'll also be mentioning a couple other frauds that were kind of similar to this one. Now, I'm going to start off with an overview of the business. Lordstown Motors was founded in 2019 and went public in 2020 through a merger with a special purpose acquisition company. This is also known as a de-SPAC transaction. Their focus was on being the first to bring their electric pickup truck, which was the Endurance, to the commercial fleet market, and they claimed that they were in the best position to do so out of other companies, based on two kind of main factors. The first being that they had a close relationship with General Motors, and the second being that they claimed that they had 27,000 pre-orders already by 2021. That ended up not being the case, but we'll get to that in a little bit later. Due to shortages and kind of failing to show any real progress or kind of meet demand, a research firm ended up publishing a report in 2023 kind of detailing out how their pre-orders weren't really real. Eventually, this led to Lordstown Motors filing for bankruptcy in 2023, and then in 2024, not long after, they emerged from bankruptcy as New Ride Inc. Now, when it comes to the fraud they committed, it mostly relates to them misleading investors about their sales prospects. As mentioned before, in 2021, they claimed that they had 27,000 pre-orders, and then by 2023, they claimed that they had 100,000 pre-orders. And it turns out that these pre-orders were actually non-binding letters of intent, and most of these non-binding letters of intent ended up being for companies that didn't even have a fleet or any need for a fleet, really. So it kind of just went against their focus anyway. But kind of through this falsification of their sales prospects, Lordstown Motors ended up raising about $675 million from their investors. Then after the SEC kind of charged them with this misleading investors fraud, they had ended up with a disgorgement of $25.5 million. Now, on top of the fraud that they committed with their misleading investors, they also had some independence issues when it came to their audit. In 2019, they hired Clark, Schaefer, Hackett & Co. To both, at first, prepare their financial statements, and then afterwards, they also hired them to audit their financial statements in the same year. And so they were auditing their own work, which violated all the independence rules related to audit. And Clark, Schaefer, Hackett & Co. actually ended up having to pay $80,000 in civil penalties because of this kind of independence violation. Now, there have been some similar situations with EV manufacturers over the recent few years. Now, the following three are all EV manufacturers that were charged with misleading their investors, and they also all went public through those de-SPAC transactions, like Lordstown Motors did. So there's quite a few commonalities between all these companies. Now, first, Nikola Corporation. They ended up misleading their investors about their products, technical capabilities and advancements, and their sales prospects, kind of like Lordstown Motors did. And it led to them having to pay a $125 million settlement. Hyzon Motors misled their investors about their sales, the status of all their products, and their business relationships. And they ended up having to pay $25 million in civil penalty. And then XL Fleet misled their investors about their potential revenue and also their sales prospects, kind of like Nikola Corporation and Lordstown Motors did. And they ended up having to pay $11 million in civil penalties. Now, there's a few main takeaways from this. The first two relating to Lordstown Motors specifically, in that they were charged with misleading their investors because of their pre-orders that they had falsified that were really just non-binding letters of intent. They also violated the independence codes by hiring the same accounting firm to both prepare their financial statements and perform the audit on those financial statements. And lastly, it kind of relates to this industry as a whole. Is it becoming common in the EV manufacturer industry? I mentioned 4 companies that all went through those de-SPACs transactions that all were charged with misleading investors just within the past couple of years. And so it may be likely that there is even more out there that are hiding their fraud. These are my references that I used, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.